not pigsty of a ghetto planet. Take me with you, Magneto. So fine. Shut up. Oh, 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 oh. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekXX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to X-Men 97. We are getting closer and closer to the finale, which I am actually heartbroken about because this show has been so good. It's so good. And I'm really sad that we only have 2 episodes left, but hey, it's fine. It's fine. With the announcement that we are actually going to be getting X-Men in the actual MCU, I can forgive the fact that we're going to probably have to wait another year to get back into this series. But anyway, back to the present. We have the second part of the finale, which is called Tolerance is Extinction Part 2. So the first part kicked off with a bang last week. We had just all-out mayhem break out when all of the different humanoid sentinels activated at the same time because their presence became known, because Beast was getting close to figuring out a way to detect them anyways. We started to find out the master plan that Bastion has been putting in place for some time now, and that it's basically just that there are potentially thousands of humans that have been converted into these machines, and many of them have absolutely no idea that that is the case. They laid waste to the X-Mansion. Everyone survived, thankfully. We didn't lose any more X-Men in that first attack, but it got pretty close. Like, Logan got beat up pretty bad, but we know he's gonna be all right. We got to see him totally turn out. We have not seen him really go full blast this season, so it was nice to see him do it in the last episode. We got to see some really great stuff out of Nightcrawler. My God, his stuff is so cool. He's one of my favorite superheroes in the franchise, and I really love the way he was done way back when in X2. So I do hope that we get to see something of him in the actual live action stuff that we get later on. But yeah, it was great to see him in action last episode as well. And we got to see the Summers family actually working together. We see that they were definitely clashing when Cable first showed up for, I'm sure, a lot of reasons, but when it came push down to shove, the family came together and showed that they are absolutely a force to be reckoned with. So that was really fun to see as well. And then we see that unfortunately, Sunspot, aka what's his real name, Roberto, and Jubilee were captured by a couple of these Sentinels because sadly, Roberto's mom is more concerned about the optics of having a mutant in her family than the fact that these killer robots just showed up out of nowhere. So anyways, I'm not sure where they're headed, but they might be okay. Actually, no, because I forgot. The end of the episode, we had a massive display of power by Magneto. He was released by the UN lady because she realized that what Bastion was doing was way beyond just controlling the mutant problem. And so she let him out. And we see that he went to what looked like the most northern point of the planet and set out a massive worldwide EMP, which again, we just need to take a minute to take in and appreciate the level of power that required. Again, just showing that he ain't playing around. And I think it's safe to say that him and Charles are probably going to be on opposite ends of the spectrum as far as humanity again. Yeah, that's where we ended with him. And then of course, at the end of the episode, we see Charles literally crashing in to his own home and trying to reach out to the X-Men because he's trying to figure out what, if anything, he can salvage in this crazy situation. So whew, a lot happened, and yet still so much more to come. So I'm ready to jump in. But just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be notified of when I do uploads to this show or anything else that I might be reacting to, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be in the know. And please do continue to show all the love and support you have. I appreciate it so much. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's get into the episode right now. Come on, everybody. It's so much fun every time. We only have 2 more. Star's back in the intro! And I missed Professor X in the last one too, someone pointed out. Yeah, oh, Magneto, okay. And we see the, you saw the T-Bird flying off that big rock, and Magneto's back in his old outfit. I feel like that's what we're gonna see him in next. I mean, I didn't mind the old outfit just because it showed off the bod, but the OG outfit is still the OG outfit, you feel me? Woo! As the sun rises over what's left of the X-Mansion. Welcome back. Yeah, you waking up alone now, sir. Oh, you didn't bring your exoskeleton? I would have taken it with me if I were him. But I guess for him, it probably feels like he's yep, old outfit's back. You're not crying over your robot mom. You turned her into that, bro. If you hadn't, she would have been perfectly fine. Oh, your old chair. Well, that's gonna need some fixing. If Forge comes back with Rogue, he can fix it. What you doing, Magneto? Ah, Storm said, get away from my babies. But she's with a man too. My man, my man. Yeah, there's gonna be massive repairs required. It's a good thing you're rich, Charles. Oh, well, Magneto said, screw your boats. What is he bringing up? Do I want to know?
It's finally quiet, Mother.
Oh, because no machines are on right now. I was wondering what he was... Right, because he can hear it. Hey, look at him with the superhero pose. Okay, Storm. No.
What did you expect was going to happen when you tossed him to school?
I wanted you two to be free, to finally be together.
Oh, there's
to have a family.
a long story around that.
You were my first students, and you graduated a long time ago.
Fly the nest, he said. Get out.
I still would have had to send Nathan to the future. I'd still be pulled into dealing with Bastion or Magneto or whoever else threatened the world.
Okay, because Charles could have foreseen that.
From the moment I first met you, that you would help build a world where mutants could live however they wish, but that you would never allow yourself to enjoy it.
He does know you well.
Because just like you, I'm right back here.
Hug it out. No? Oh, come on. Don't be petty. You wonder where Nathan gets it from, and you have the nerve to be upset that he don't want to talk to you. Look where he gets it from.
Trask.
Did he?
Much has happened, Fräulein.
And you got to sleep through it.
Survived. And so did...
Remy?
No. It's a good thing he didn't if he came back as one of those.
Oh, shucks. We missed the hoedown.
Your powers restored, thanks to Forge.
It was actually you did that.
Aurora's doing her modest goddess routine.
It's been too long, my friend.
Oh yeah, 2 geeks. We need your brains immediately.
Rigged together an electrostatic deflector ages ago.
Oh, me, oh, my. How, my friend?
Later.
If it is this horrible here, how bad is it out there?
Do you want to know?
Without warning, Magneto's thrown the entire planet back centuries.
I mean, it's necessary,
Feel the
though.
Earth's magnetic field dying even now.
Oh.
When the sun sets tonight, it sets on the
Oh, well,
future.
yeah, that's bad. That's true. The Earth wasn't really meant to be hit by a wave of, that magnetic field. We're not supposed to be under it.
Logan, if you must punish someone for today, then start with me.
No one's gonna go after a man in a wheelchair.
Do not make Magnus pay for my designs.
Rogue, you're going with me and Blue Team to find Magneto.
And do what?
Have we figured out how to remove these prime sentinel
Yeah, exactly.
upgrades, or eliminate his control?
Because here's the
over
problem.
them?
When you take down the magnetic field, you're all screwed again.
But Forge and I believe we can restore the Prime Sentinel's innate humanity.
Hold up. These guys hated us before Bastion drafted
That's a new
us
outfit.
for a robot army.
Just realized.
Unplug them from Bastion. But then what?
Sounds like just another day that ends in Y when you put it that way.
Facts.
Bastion is the command server.
Remember, he's half
When I first
machine.
founded the school, I visited Sebastian's mother.
Oh! Information we could have used yesterday!
His mother slammed the door when she heard the word, forbade him from returning with me to the school.
In another world, Bastion would be in this portrait.
Would he, though? We forgot what he descended from.
I believe Magnus will be open to turning the power back on.
Well, didn't you also believe it was a good idea to hand the bad guy your school?
I was about to say, Charles, you've lost a lot of ground here.
Impress me.
Okay.
So we calibrate the scrambler to Bastion's frequency and sever his hold over the primes.
But we may be able to do more than just that.
Go
If
on.
Bastion's abilities operate like our mutations, we can use neutralizer technology to permanently disable his control of prime sentinels.
Uh-oh.
No neutralizer technology.
Yeah, that's still a sore spot for Storm. We may not want to bring that up for, like, the rest of our lives. Yeah. But I do feel like, in his case, it might be a good idea.
Maybe if you saw us as people and not students, you'd have realized that.
I'm so sorry.
You're going to have to put up with this for a while, Charles.
And despite the power of words, nothing spoken can heal this pain.
You need to let it happen. Excuse me, did anyone order a whole chunk of earth in the front yard?
Magnus!
Yeah, he's pissed. Unfortunately, I gotta let him have it right now.
Looks like the search came to us.
Back up. You keep forgetting you're made of metal.
When you abandoned us for your Shia bird
Not Bird Queen?
bequeathed it to me, asked me to walk your path. Are you prepared to walk mine?
Yep.
You must undo the damage you've done.
Will humanity undo Genosha?
Right?
I promised a boy a future free
Aw,
of fear. Only
Leech.
to watch his frightened eyes be vaporized inside his tiny skull. Because he believed in me. In the dream you had me sell.
Damn.
How many more of your bones will pave the way to Xavier's future?
Screw the knife.
A new Genosha. We have gotten here by walking this man's path.
He's this man now?
Or rise to your future and look down upon this fallen pigsty planet.
Not pigsty of a ghetto planet.
My X-Men.
Ooh, there are his X-Men now.
Look,
Yeah.
Do not turn your back on family.
She's
You were
not.
gone, gal. None of you were there the day Genosha fell.
Damn.
Who dies next, Professor?
Woo!
Jean? Been there, done that.
Damn.
Who knows where Bishop is?
Yikes.
Hell, Morph was barely on the team 30 minutes before we tossed them to the wolves.
She said what she said.
My mom handed me over to the Prime Sentinel.
There's a lot of hurt people in this group right now.
What's left here?
Me?
Respectfully, you've only been dating for 13 minutes.
the door is open.
Oh, he said, come into my secret bubble. Take me with you, you know? So fine. Sorry, Charles. You knew this was going to have to, you know, go through some stuff and things, right? These people are hurt and angry.
If I had it my way, I'd be on Isla Mirada with you and Jean instead of space. But she's...
Not my mother.
We get it.
And... son.
Let me guess. Be careful.
No. Give him hell.
He's like, you are my kid. Stop it. Aw, Cable smiled, guys. Did you see that? Rare occasion.
Am I going to war or a circus?
I don't blame you, bro.
What'd you expect? Black leather?
Aha. Aha.
An attack against Magneto will only inflame...
Yeah, you don't want to go up against him, and you can't.
The world is falling apart because you left your legacy to a lunatic.
Not a lunatic. Merely a man trying to survive.
Period.
Proven his worst fears true.
Y'all literally signed his death warrant.
My X-Men and I are your best hope to avoid...
Ooh, the costumes! What? Really, sir? I mean, I guess it wasn't her fault. She didn't know.
If you don't trust me, trust my X-Men.
That was a great shot. So, Jean, if you want to bring out that Phoenix Force anytime now, that'd be fantastic. I just say, you know, I don't think Bastion accounted for that.
They approach. Open the silo.
Wow, this man is literally a living Cerebro. Alright, well, look at that. Bastion made friends. Actually created a family. Splendiferous.
Surrender to the future.
I don't know why y'all went in this very flammable plane.
Bastion must be powering their circuitry using this technopathy. Hang on!
Okay, so that's why he's strapped in, because I was like, he's never been strapped in before.
No, that's an army out there.
And she's a goddess. She's got this, babe.
Innocent emerged, stronger, a survivor, a phoenix.
Which we could use right now, sis, instead of this lovely skirt outfit you got going on.
Make them mind your weather, sister.
And them weather your mind.
That is a great bar. Storm said, try to regulate this, monsters. The poor Galapagos, they never asked for this.
You cannot stop me and my kind.
Okay. Oh, that is ambitious, Morph. Not bad, but I do wonder how much of their things like their strength he can emulate. I have to read more about Morph.
Lend you a hand, friend.
You're so punny.
What is the sound of one hand
It's a
clapping?
wave. Oh!
I know your genes.
Shut up! Can you neuter this man once and for all? For the love of God, please. You're gonna have to go with something you don't usually use, Gene. That was kind of what he's trying to tell you. Inadvertently.
Only I know where you end, and Madeline.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter. Madeline fights with me today.
Period. Bitch! Kill him. I know we're not supposed to, but forget that. Who cares? Half the reason why X-Men keep having repeated problems is so they let people live.
We're skipping the blabber.
Logan, bro.
You're playing to kill.
Yeah, I feel like Magneto doesn't want to actually kill y'all. He never does want to do that. He just wants you to get out of his way. I shouldn't say never. Most of the time.
Thousands are dead, and more will follow unless we...
Thousands more died on Genosha.
Yeah.
Whose lives matter more?
Neither. They're actually equal.
Hey, I'm sorry, Jubes. You okay?
You gotta stick to his side if you're on it, Rob. Sorry.
Jubes, I said sorry.
He's still angry.
Oh, how I've waited to say these two words to you, old friend.
Yes? Shut up.
Shut
Sorry. You know I love me some Xavier, but sometimes it's true.
We must trust Gold Team to neutralize Bastion.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting, you know, because Charles
Savior's brats
has done that a few times.
We must retreat.
Oh. He said I don't do retreats. Get out of here, you weird freak in your weird ass outfit. Oh, it was actually Morph. I'm sorry, boo. It's worth a try. Let's go, agility! Damn. There goes the plan. I think we need to leave Magneto in place, guys. Gold Team is failing and flailing. What just hit her? Oh. Y'all see what happens when you let a man cloud your judgment?
Sinister's controlling you just like he controlled your mother.
Was a world-class telekinetic.
Yeah,
Just
and she
like
got controlled. And Jean had to save her ass too. Oh, snap! The real cable's coming through, baby! Remember whose child he is. Wow, Cable. Wow!
Scott, I love you.
Uh-oh.
Nathan.
You have to focus on the fight in front of you, bro. I'm sorry. This is a mess. Yeah, you're metal, bro. Oh, but you got the helmet off. Good job. Yep. Damn. He may not forgive you for this, Charles. What happened to Charles's chair?
Gold Team still needs more time.
That was not smart. What did you... No, God. Oh, snap! Not the reverso.
Now you have finally found the metal to do what is necessary. You are a traitor to your race.
No, he's just trying to piece me. No, not Magnus.
Finally, this feud is over.
Yeah, you're made of metal, bro. Oh!
Don't do this!
Technically, Logan did it first. He liquefied the adamantium? Is that what I just saw? Wait a damn minute. literally ripped the adamantium out of his bones. That might actually have been worse than killing him, because you can't put that back in. I mean, you can, but I don't know that he would survive it again. Is that it? Holy shnikey. What the hell is happening? The last 5 minutes were insane. I mean, all of it was, but holy crap. Wow, the action alone, okay, obviously top tier. This is crazy. This is crazy. Just the battling that is going on. Jean, Sinister, Cable finally letting loose, and we can see what this kid is actually, the descendant of some powerful bloodlines. What's going on with just the division between the X-Men, and then of course, whatever the hell is going on with Bastion and this mess. Okay, so let's survey the situation. Let's survey it, because there's so much going on here, so much to touch on. Not trying to talk too long here. Magneto, Magneto has basically said the only way to shut Bastion down is to make sure that he can never use power, which is vital to his Prime Sentinels again. The only way to do that is to keep an electromagnetic pulse going constantly on Earth. It's knocking out power. Anything that uses electricity and magnetism in any way is completely gone, but it's affecting the Earth, as makes sense, because the Earth is also magnetic, right? That's why we can use compasses and things like that. There is a literal polarity in the Earth, and Magneto is effing with that right now, heavy, and they're saying it's destabilizing the Earth. So the option is we drop the EMP, but then Sentinels reactivate and we're back to being screwed, or we let the EMP stay and Earth destabilizes and literally everything dies, and everyone, except for whoever's not on this little rock that Magneto is literally keeping afloat and full of oxygen with his powers. Damn. And then, then we've got, okay, so that's the situation. And it's a hell of a decision. Obviously, all of humanity does not deserve to die. Most of humanity had no freaking idea of what was going on with Bastion or any of this, so they don't all deserve to be casualties here. This is the extremeness of Magneto's thinking that is wrong, and that makes him just as bad as the people that hate him. This is the problem with these situations. But at the same time, I really can't argue with Magneto right now. The man is traumatized upon traumatized. He is hurt, he's angry. There's so much going on, it's all valid. And honestly, if most of us had superpowers, we would probably be exactly like him. But at the same time, obviously, as I said, he's wrong. Everyone does not deserve to die. Every human doesn't deserve to die. And mutant too. There's millions of mutants on Earth that aren't going to survive this either, just because really right now he's pissed. Effectively, that's what it reduces down to, is that he's pissed. But let's bring it back a little bit. Let's dial it back before we get to the extremes. Charles is back and he's trying to take in as much as he can. Like, the urgency of everything is really what's first and foremost, but there is a lot to deal with. Clearly his X-Men did not know that he decided to take a little vacay and didn't tell them. He told Magnus. Magnus knew the truth. We know that now. That was confirmed, but the X-Men did not know that he chose to leave. And now the repercussions of that, I don't want to call it a lie so much. I mean, it was a lie, but it was more withholding than it was lying. But keeping that secret up, letting them believe that is going to have repercussions. Like, and I don't know if during that, whatever, I mean, it looks like it was at least a couple days from wherever he was on Shi'ar to get back to Earth. I don't know if Charles was taking that time to really think about those ramifications, but my guess is he was too busy just trying to figure out what the hell was going on. But those ramifications are there, and the feelings and the emotions that everyone's feeling are valid, and he has to deal with that. Like, the repercussions of lying and hiding for a year is that people are going to be pissed, people are going to feel betrayed, people are going to be angry, and they're all valid emotions for them to feel towards Charles. And he has to just basically sit with that. He's got to be patient and recognize that they will come around if they're going to come around when they're ready to come around. He can't force that. He can't push it. And I do like that for the most part in this episode, we didn't see Charles trying to say, oh, let's, we'll forget about it, or that shouldn't matter, or even try to necessarily overtake. Like, when Scott started to step forward and act like the leader, we see that, Charles didn't try to fight him. He just kind of shrunk back because he knew that, a power struggle in this moment was not going to help anybody. But I'm sure he understood what that meant, right? Scott that he knew before would always defer to Charles's management. But clearly right now, everybody's a little upset. Faith is shaken. We saw Charles basically saying, look, I did this because I thought I was helping you and Jean. And, Scott was like, you should have made that our decision. Like, you didn't have the right to parent us and to assume that we couldn't make that adult decision for ourselves. And, Charles basically said, okay, yeah, you're right, maybe, but he's like, I didn't want you to end up like me. He's like, you see how I keep coming back here? Like, I have the opportunity to get married and have my own life. And yet I'm back here because of my students. And like here, you're back here when you could be living your life. But we saw conversely that Scott had a really good point about, yeah, but look, but all these things we face, Sinister coming after Jean, me having to send our son to the future, having to face Bastion. He's like, all of that was going to happen with or without me being here at the school or not. So did you really protect us? Did you really change anything? Or did you just make things weird between us, right? So, the sentiment behind what Charles did was sweet and loving, but I agree with Scott in that a handful of his students, all the X-Men anyways, are adults, except for, no, Jubilee's now legally adult. But anyway, yeah, they're all adults. So they are now more than capable of making these types of decisions for themselves, especially Scott and Jean, because they have known Charles for so long, right? And I get where Charles was coming from, but in the end, if someone chooses to be by your side, even if you think they should be out there flying the nest, that's their choice. And Scott wouldn't have been upset with that. And I don't think Jean would have either. I mean, if she would have, they would have figured it out, but you get my point. They're old enough to know now that would be their decision to make and to be okay with whatever the outcome was after they made it. So anyway, we see that Scott and Charles are still, obviously they, the love is there. That's basically Scott's father. So, he still has the love, but he's angry, and understandably so. And as I brought out in the episode, he's wondering why Nathan's so stubborn. It's like, hello, page out of Dad's book here with being stubborn and being upset. But anyway, so there's that with him. Storm came back, and obviously everyone's happy that she's back and that she's got her powers. No one's really asking too many questions, which is fine. Forge has come right in, but thank goodness I forgot that, between Forge and Beast, those are two great minds that can work together. And we see that in a very short amount of time, they came up with what could be an alternative to keeping Bastion from continuing to control all these Sentinels. And we see that they also were saying, oh, maybe we could go ahead and neutralize whatever it is that makes his powers, because we discovered this episode that Charles actually met Bastion's mom ages ago when he was still a child, because he's assumed that Bastion was a mutant. And I think it's fair enough to say that Bastion probably is a kind of mutant, because yes, he's a descendant of a Sentinel. Yes, this was an infection, but my guess is the reason why his body is adapted so well to what that mechanical infection was is because he probably already had some form of a mutation. Coming back, so we found out that, Bastion's mom is actually what kept Bastion from being around other mutants and what could have possibly changed his mind about being weird, being a freak. And anyway, hearing that, we kind of see that Bastion has gone back to his actual base, which apparently was just off the coast of South America. And he's upset about his mom because his mom, of course, is being shut down. Without power, his mom is unable to, live thanks to what he did to her. And I thought it was just a really cool line in there where he says to his mom, look, he's like, Mom, for the first time, it's quiet, right? Because we saw from last episode that Bastion's been able to hear machines since as long as he could remember. And because of the world we live in, especially now, he would have constantly heard noise, like they never would have shut off. It's always been noise. Obviously, he learned how to tune out what he needed to, but the fact that it's always been like there as background noise, and the fact that for the first time in his life, it's quiet, it's probably somewhat comforting, believe it or not, to him. But anyway, and the fact that it's Magneto of all people who's inadvertently giving him this gift. But anyhow, we see that that's all happening back home. So we've got the chip, the thing that can neuralize his powers. And we see that Storm literally brings in a flash of lightning when they say the word neuralize or neutralize. And they both kind of snap in and go, oh, right. And I think that's such a great moment that happened there, because that's what happens with science, right? That's really what happened with Forge all those years ago. Yes, he explained that he was upset and disillusioned, etc. But when scientists or geeks who are geeky about something just get into their zone, they don't think about things like moral ramifications, if that makes sense. Tony Stark's another great example of that too, right? Throughout his career, he's done some stuff that a lot of people would say were morally ambiguous, if not completely wrong, but he was never looking at it like that. He was always looking at the science and what it could do and the potential of the discovery, or, where this could take us, progressively in a scientific way. And the morals were like this little buzzing thing in the back of his head he didn't really think of. So seeing Beast and Forge kind of getting into their geeky element, of course, it's not that they didn't recognize or appreciate what Storm had just been through, but they were just so in the zone of what they were doing that it didn't even hit them that, oh, maybe we should be more careful with this, since the last time we put something like this into the world, it neutralized our friend here for, weeks. And there's a lot of other probably poor mutants out there that are suffering the ramifications of this. So I just thought that was a really cool moment. It was short, but it was loaded. It was very loaded. But anyway, they came up with the collar. They're like, if we can get this around Bastion, it'll at least sever his connection with the rest of these Sentinels, and then Professor Xavier can work along with with Forge as well to figure out a way to get back to their humanity so that they'll be able to control themselves, right? But I like that they brought up, again, so many good things brought up in this episode, more conversations to be had. Like we hear Roberto say, well, so what? Like, what if we do bring them back to their human selves? He's like, half of these people hated us anyway. A good chunk of the people who signed up for this were people who hated mutants or were scared of us. So do you really think that they're going to stop coming after us, even if they do get their humanity back, right? And he's not wrong, right? Like if these people already had that thinking, now that they have that thinking and they're superpowered, is that really better for everybody? Or is it maybe better that they stay asleep forever, right? Like these are valid things and so understandable. And do you give autonomy to somebody who's got the ability to hurt a lot of people that they hate at once just because they should have that right? Is that the right thing to do? Is that morally okay, right? So lots of really big questions in this episode. But anyway, so they sat there, they come up with their plan, and basically the plan is that someone's got to go and try to take out Sebastian, not take him out, but at least sever his connection with the rest of the Sentinels while someone goes and gets Magneto to stop doing what he's doing with the magnetic force so that Earth does not literally combust. And they split up 2 teams, and it's just mayhem as we see, right? Things are just not going well, especially the one going up to Magneto, because that's the hard one, because they're going up against some of their own, because we see that Magneto, he came and he's like, listen, X-Men, I've got no issue with you. You know, I'm actually always been mutant first, but I'm not doing this whole kumbaya stuff no more. Charles, we tried it your way. This is your fault. It really wasn't directly, but you know, Magneto needs to be mad at somebody. He's like, this is all Charles's fault. He said we could be friendly with the humans. Look what happened. The humans did exactly what I said they were gonna do. I was right. And they suck, and I'm tired, and you know what? We ain't gotta play nice with them no more. I'm getting up out of here, basically. He's like, I'm leaving this Milky Way ghetto. You can join me if you like, or you can stay here, and then whatever happens, happens, because literally, I've given you the option. The door is open to come, but I'm not staying, right? And I'm not stopping what I'm doing. So we see that Charles tries to reach out to him, and Magneto makes argument after argument after argument that all makes sense in the sense of people who've been through the oppression, who've been through the pain, who've been through the suffering. He's not lying. You know where he's coming from. And what he's saying is absolutely true, in that even if they save all these humans right now, there's no guarantee that they're going to recognize that they got saved by mutants, that they're going to feel differently, that they're going to stop the oppression or the attempts of the oppression, that they're going to stop the hatred. None of that is. In fact, some of them are probably still going to blame mutants all the more, because people out there aren't going to know the difference between Bastion and a regular mutant. They're just going to think he's part of them. So he's like, what reason do we have to stay here? Let's just go. We're going to start over. Let this world crumble the way it should. We'll start a brand new Genosha away from these people, and we don't have to go through all this. And we see that he's joined by Rogue, which doesn't surprise me. She is still fully mourning. She's still very angry over Remy. And then we've got Roberto, who, like he said, my own mom let me be collared, knowing now she knows what I am, and she still had me collared. So if that's my own mother and she'd do that to me, what more would society do? And we know that Roberto's been scared of society for a minute now. So that's just plugging into a fear he already had. So 2 of the X-Men decide to join him. 2 pretty powerful ones, to be fair. And what really sucks is that Sunspot is one of the few that actually has a power, other than Magneto, of course, that really severely affects these robots. But anyways, they go off, and that's what makes this battle that's happening in the sky a little bit more touch and go than what's happening on Galapagos Island. So we'll talk about the one on Galapagos first, because I feel like the big one was the fight that we have in the sky. The Galapagos Island one is crazy. We see that Sinister has broken off and decided to split up the team, which makes sense. He wants to go after Jean. We know why. He definitely is not done experimenting with her or doing what he wants to do. And of course, that draws him and Cable away. And then we see that Beast and Morph to try to go after Bastion. And this is maybe not the best idea, because, you know, again, Beast is really strong and agile, but that's it. Like, he has no range of power. And as we saw, as best as he tried to navigate his way to get to the Bastion, he couldn't even get close. And Morph tried, bless his heart. I really like I didn't even think about the fact that it would have been Morph in there and not Sinister. But he tried his best to get close to him. But Bastion, like he said, I already know Sinister is not that kind of guy. He would have left. If it was that bad, he would have left my ass here. So we see that the battle's not going well in there. And unfortunately, Bastion does have the collar now. I'm sure he's going to analyze it in quick time and realize what it is. That was kind of their best bet. So my guess is we're not getting it on him. I don't see it happening at this point, but we have one episode left. We'll have to see. And so that's how things are going inside there. And then on the other side, we see that Sinister is trying to get inside of Jean's head. He's trying to tempt her and distract her with things like, oh, you know, I'm the only one who knows exactly when the timelines blur between you and Madeline. Just say the word and I'll tell you. And I love that finally Jean has come to the conclusion that I mentioned several episodes back, which is that it doesn't matter anymore. First of all, Madeline's no longer here. And second of all, it doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, we need to move forward. Knowing when the split happened won't change the fact that what happened. So anyways, and she actually starts to get a little bit of ground on Sinister. She starts beating his ass, but unfortunately, he has a puppet, one last card in his arsenal, which is that he did infect Nathan with that technovirus all those years ago. It didn't finish what it was trying to do, but it was enough, as we see, because Nathan has the little diamond on his head, the same one that we saw show on Madeline's head, and now he is under Sinister's control, and he is taking it out on Jean. And I really love that we finally get to see, because all we've seen of Cable thus far is him with his guns and the fact that the kid is built like a brick house, but we don't see what makes him so special, if there is anything. And this kid, again, child of Madeline, aka Jean, child of Scott, both of these are super powerful mutants. There's no way that he has nothing going on there. And now we see it. Right? He's like, you really think that I'm the child of one of the strongest telekinetics and telepaths, and I got nothing? Right? And we see that he's got his mom's power, and that he also has a kinetic power like his dad. So just a mean machine. And we see that it's literally taking everything in Jean to block his blasts, because it's coming from two different ways. And I think what's made it even more difficult is the fact that Jean does not want to hurt him. This is her husband's son, and kind of in her own a really indirect, crazy way, hers too. Yeah, we see that poor Jean is trying to keep herself alive, but you know, she knows if she blasts back in the wrong way, she could hurt Nathan, and that would be something she's not sure that Scott would recover from. So we see that she reaches out to Scott, and Scott sees what's happening, and then she basically says, I love you, which we all know that in shows like this, words like that often mean that someone is about to be sacrificed. And we know that Jean has died before, but we also know that the Phoenix Force is still with her, and it tends to resurface when she's in mortal danger. And I'm not mad at that. Why? Because we bloody well need the Phoenix, damn it. We need the Phoenix. We can't handle this. We've proven we cannot handle this on our own, okay? So once Scott realizes that, he realizes that the ground team is nowhere near containing Bastion yet. So he decides, that kind of jumps into the battle. Let's get into the battle in the sky before we get into why Scott's going to do what he's doing. But we have the up until that point, right? And then, and the sky battle is crazy because, of course, we got Charles versus Eric, which we knew was going to happen at some point, or Magnus, I should say. And it's sad because, again, both of them have valid points. Charles is always going to want peace. He's always going to want to fight for both humans and mutants, and he's not wrong for that. The way forward is absolutely, believe it or not just tolerance, but acceptance. That is the way forward. But Magneto is too hurt and too angry right now to even hear that, and it's valid. And we see that, you know, the battle starts up, but, you know, Rogue is trying to let, like, Logan know, for example, that this should not be a battle to the death. Like, they're all still family here. They're just having a big fight right now, and they should be trying to at least keep it cute. But Logan's not about that. Logan is very angry. He's got real beef with Magneto. And I mean, if you read the comics, we already know why. And the whole thing happens. It's ugly, you know, Jubilee and Robert are fighting, like, and clearly not wanting to hurt each other. But anyways, it's a crazy fight because no one really wants to hurt each other except for Logan wanting to hurt Magneto. And it's just, and of course, Charles and Magnus are barbing back and forth and both letting bars go. And Magneto does not want to drop the shields. He doesn't want to save humanity. And it gets to the point where Charles is like, I'm not going to be able to reason with him right now. I need to hijack his mind. And this is an interesting thing because we know that Charles has done this before, but considering what Charles proposes, you know, what he talks about as far as mutants and boundaries and also just being the crazy level telepath that he is, that's a line. To overtake someone's mind and force them to do something, to puppet them, is a line. And it's a crazy one. It's a scary one. And Charles doesn't like to cross it, obviously. Like, if he really wanted to abuse that, he would have and could have many times. But he clearly felt like he had no other choice. And that's crazy, you know. when you think about what that means. Like as humans, what we value most more than anything, one of the things we hold deepest to us is control over our own minds and autonomy. And for someone to take over that is a deep violation, like a very deep violation, especially to someone you consider a friend. So for Charles to realize that that's where he's got to go is crazy. And it's also something he does not want to do. But anyway, it all goes down. Logan gets the memo. He manages to get the helmet off of Magneto at his peril, because once again, he is all metal. So he's taking a real risk fighting Magneto. But he gets the helmet off, and we see that Charles does get in there. He apologizes, but he's literally in there fighting. And it's taken a lot because Magneto is fighting him hard. And I also feel like deep down, Charles doesn't want to do this really. But anyway, we see that he's about to do it. But then because of what I talked about before, Scott interrupts it, blasts Magneto down. And then of course that gives Magneto the window he needs to just go nuts, right? Because he was playing nice until that point. But now that he's like, oh, okay, Charles, you're going to do that. Here's the helmet. I'm about to show you what happens when the gloves actually come off and we don't hold back on our powers anymore. And so that happens. And then we see things spin out of control, 0 to 60 in no time. And what happens? We see that Logan does what he's been meaning to do for a while, takes a shot, could have been a fatal one, damn near a fatal one at Magneto. And Magneto's like, all right, that's what it's going to be. Then it's game over. I'm done. I am done. And what does he do? We see what happens at the end. He actually pulls the adamantium out of Wolverine's bones. First of all, the pain, okay? Just to think of the sheer agony that would be to pull metal out through someone's skin. We know that he will heal from it because that's his true mutation, is the healing. But Christ, that pain, the trauma that goes with that pain, because we know how he got that adamantium in the first place, that's probably all going to come back fresh. And as I said in the episode, how do we get that back in? Can it go back in? We know that Wolverine has bone claws underneath, but they're nowhere near as deadly as what he's got now. What does this mean? What does this mean? What is this line? Are we okay with this line? Where's Rogue going to be when this all comes down? Is Roberto okay with this? This is crazy. We fractured something here now. And it just feels like on the X-Men side of things are just getting more and more and more fractured. And it's a mess. And I don't know where we're going to go from here because we've got one episode left. Bastion is still out there. The Sentinels are still a threat. So many things. And now we've got within the team all this turmoil. Where are we going to go from here, guys? How do we have only one episode left? How do we wrap this up? How do we do that? Like, I'm completely at a loss as to where we're going to end this, but I'm confident we're going to get something cool because, like I said, this was only, how long was this episode? It was like 27 minutes. So they fade a lot in that time. So I'm pretty sure that the finale is going to be the same. We're going to get a lot in a short amount of time, but I don't know that we're going to get anything wrapped up at this point. I feel like we're definitely going to end on a cliffy. I don't know how we're going to fix this, where we need to fix this, what to do to fix it, but I just know that I'm ready for the next episode now. Like, I'm really mad that we have to wait a whole week, but I'm also very excited. So much in this episode, guys. So many loaded things, so much heaviness, so many moral questions. As usual, the show leaves me spinning mentally and emotionally, but also just the fights. I don't know, like I said, how do you top this next week? I'm scared, but again, so ready. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, guys. What did you think? Predictions below, please. No spoilers if you have comic book knowledge, but let me know in the comments below what you're thinking. Thank you so much for watching along with me. I know I ranted a pretty long time this time, but I appreciate you if you stuck it out to the end. Please do show some love if you're feeling it, and I will see you in the next one.